I would rather buy ZBCN over XLM, even though that's not financial advice. The reason is because I think ZBCN at this point, its hypothetical upside percentage-wise just feels a lot more dynamic than something like XLM. Now, granted, XLM can still do good in my opinion, but I think ZBCN in the next, let's say, 6 to 10 months could hypothetically do a lot better. And even though that's not financial advice, the way you take a look at it is that why wouldn't this be the case? Because 10 cents, that is my price target for ZBCN during this bull run. And again, if it were to go to that price, 10 cents, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $7.5 billion. So it's actually not that bad, right? That's not even 10% of Dogecoin's all-time high market cap. Let's not forget though, 10 cents is currently around a 65x from here. Some people may think, oh yeah, it's not good and all, but I think that's actually very fantastic. But on the flip side, right, could XLM do this? Let's say again in the next 6 to 10 months. I'm not saying like 20, 30 years later, whatever. Again, I'm just saying that time frame. I don't think I could do that, theoretically, because if let's say XLM were to do 65x from here, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $635 billion, which I think is clearly not realistic. And the price at that point, again, a 65x from here would be $20, around that, right? Yeah, I don't think that's realistic, to be honest. I mean, could XLM, again, do pretty good? Yeah, but I don't see it going to, those levels, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that Stellar is bad or anything, because if you take a look at the Stellar blockchain, it is known for its lightning fast speed. Of course, we all know that XLM is kind of like the, I guess, sidekick to XRP, because people usually acquire, XRP in tandem with XLM and vice versa. Again, I'm not saying it's bad, because of course, XLM, very amazing community, very passionate. But again, when it comes to strictly hypothetical upside, I think ZBCN does win in this case, because if I were to ask myself, let's say, what would have an easier time doing over 60x in the next 6 to 10 months? I think realistically, just based off of this, logical analysis, I think ZBCN is a lot more likely to do that. Again, I'm not guaranteeing that ZBCN could do that, but I think hypothetically it's more likely than something like XLM. Now, even though when it comes to the Stellar blockchain, it's fantastic, the Zebec Network, again, aka ZBCN, it doesn't really lose out to something like that, because if you take a look at Zebec, again, the Zebec Network, it is a decentralized infrastructure network for real-world value flows. More specifically, it is focused on RWA payments. And if we take a look at the meaning of RWA, it stands for real-world asset. And for instance, if we take a look at an RWA token, it is a digital representation of a physical asset on the blockchain. These assets can be, for instance, like stocks, bonds, real estate, art. Really, the possibilities seem a lot, right? It feels like there's a lot of options, but I think you get the point. RWA tokenization could be a big narrative moving forward. Zebec, it's focused on this market, or should I say niche, that granted, there are several other projects focused on this, but then I think Zebec has that special added sauce where it's just very reputable in a sense that you take a look at its investors. Like, for instance, it has investors like Solana Ventures, which is obviously massive, right? We also take a look at Circle, which is the creator of USDC. So really, when it comes to Zebec, it's a real deal project with good investors, and its partnerships are fantastic. You take a look at its partners with Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan, Bank of America. I'm just naming a few here, by the way, but I think you get the point as to why I think Zebec is really wonderful. And it has the statistics to back it up too. Even though the adoption isn't the best, by the way, it's still pretty good in terms of its, again, stats. You take a look at how there's currently around 50,000 monthly users, there's over 200 payroll enterprise clients, and its payroll volume is even around $1 billion. So yeah, it's not that bad actually, again, considering, how Zebec really isn't this massive quote-unquote project yet. And some people may argue that, hey, when it comes to Zebec, it's kind of like piggybacking off the hype of XRP and XLM. And yeah, I'll agree with that, because it kind of is. It's pretty much focused on the same markets too, because Zebec is also focused on the payments market. It's also focused on the global trade and finance market, which we all know is massive, right? Like, for instance, the payments market is currently valued at over $2 trillion, while the global trade and finance market is predicted to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028, according to Mordor Intelligence. So clearly massive markets right there. But the thing is, beyond XLM and XRP, there's no clear number 3, number 4, number 5 yet, at least. And I think the reason why was because of the Ripple and SEC case, which as a result of that, not many developers really wanted to enter in this space for quite a while. As a result, now there's not that many good competitors, I would say. So Zebec really has this opportunity to shine. Now, am I saying that Zebec is going to defeat Stellar in the long term? No, it's not going to do that. I think Stellar is going to do very well during this bull and it's going to do well in the future. But again, naturally, because ZBCN is a lot lower, hypothetically, the room for growth is a lot better than XLM as of right now, in my opinion. Not financial advice again. But the way I take a look at it is that when it comes to, as of right now, currently, at least at the time of this recording, we all know about the Bybit news, right? Where, allegedly, over $1 billion of ETH, aka Ethereum, did get breached or hacked, some people would say, right? Now, allegedly, Bybit is saying that, hey, they got this under control or whatever, but really it doesn't matter, in my opinion, in the grand scheme of things, because we do know that usually altcoins is a worst-case scenario. They typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event, and the last Bitcoin halving event happened back in April, so 18 months from then is actually around October this year. Again, this is based off of history. There's no, telling if it's going to happen exactly this time around. Only time will tell, but I'm more so taking a look at near the end of 2025. So really, we're still in February as of right now. With this news and this volatility, I think as May, June, July comes along, it's going to be a thing of the past. People don't really care anymore. I feel like a lot of people that I've noticed, they move on pretty quickly, right? Especially in this space. No one really talks about the Terra Luna crash anymore, the FTX crash, or whatever happened to, when people say, hey, look at Celsius. People don't really talk about that type of stuff anymore. So the way you take a look at it is that when there's over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research, when we take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, I really do believe that this bull could be very special, which is why if I only could, let's say, put all my eggs into one basket for this bull, right? Let's say XLM or ZBCN, it's going to have to be all into ZBCN. I mean, it's just only logical for me to do that, in my opinion. Again, I'm not saying XLM is bad because I think it is actually very good as a project. You take a look at Stellar again. I do really love the Stellar blockchain. But then, again, hypothetical upside, I think ZBCN does win. Now, granted, a microcap, let's say, could do a lot better than that, right? Let's say some microcaps could do like a 1000x or something, but I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for something that's not a microcap, but then not too big either. And I believe that is ZBCN. I think that perfectly fits what I'm looking for. This could be different on other people's situations. I'm not saying that anyone has to buy ZBCN, right? I'm just saying what I'm saying, or at least what I'm feeling. But I do believe ZBCN is the winner here. And at the price of 10 cents during this bull run, that right there wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's Mali the Captain. I'll catch you all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.